You have no right to treat someone badly based on your perception of their sexuality. What does that mean? I'm going to put it plain and simple. You have no right to treat someone negatively in any way because you think that they are gay. Right? This is something I had to come out with the first sentence and get straight to it, because what's happening is that people are... Okay, look. There's a reason why I'm saying perceived. It's people who are looking at someone, deciding something about that person, treating that person badly. And not only that, from there they're continuing on. They're going over to, they're telling other people. And then it creates a whole continuous, basically it's a rumor. And it's also a negative treatment that begins to happen towards this individual. Look, I've experienced this personally. And this is why I'm making a video on it, because I think I've had some major things happen to where I'm like, you know what, I got to start speaking on serious issues. I normally would just teach computer stuff, but there's serious things happening. You have no right to do that regardless of what... Now look, you can have your belief of what you think is whatever, but you don't have the right to treat people badly. This thing needs to stop, because what's happening is, I can tell you my experience personally, which is that, you know, for instance, and maybe I won't even say personally, you're a straight man, but one person, for some reason, perceives that you are not. Okay, so, okay, fine, they think you're gay. Is there anything wrong with that? No. But here's the problem. They become negative. They start talking about you badly. They start acting crazy towards you. They go and they tell other people, and again, they're doing it in a way that is meant to be hurtful. See, that's the key. They're trying to be hurtful and negative about it. That's what's wrong. There's nothing wrong with someone thinking that you are gay. That alone, there's nothing wrong with that. People can think. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with someone being gay. There is something wrong with someone basically being negative towards that person because they think that. Okay, that is the point. All right, it's got to stop. The hatred in the society has got to stop, because it starts with things like that, and it's a seed, and you're feeding hatred into the world and into society, and it's got to stop. And this is part of the hatred. Okay, it's got to stop. Look, I've had someone at the point where they want to attack me. Right? It's gone to that point over this type of thing. And other people, and I've seen it happen to other people also. And I just had to speak on it in this video because, you know, I think the point I kind of wanted to get across here, that's a little different from what you'll usually hear on this topic, is that it's not only gay people who are being affected by this, it's people who are actually not gay as well are being affected. People who are not actually gay, but someone thinks they're gay, and then there's people that actually that are negative towards them in some way or another, just because they have that thought about that person, right? So that's how strong this hatred is, that, you know, we all are on this planet. Look, man, the hatred is this has to stop, because you know, and again, I've experienced it personally, where I've had the perceived sexuality thing happen to me, and I've had, you know, someone literally just like hate me going forward, or treat me negatively, treat me like I'm less than. There's avoidance. I've experienced this type of thing. okay, in various situations. And, look, man, people don't talk about it, but coming up in school, especially in the past, maybe today is better. I think it's a little better. But even coming up in school, this was a thing, right? But other males used that, perceived sexuality as a put down, as a way to try to put you down, to be negative, to try to be hurtful, right? There are literally fights, physical fights that happen over this kind of hatred and this kind of again, I'm using that terminology again, perceived sexuality. So, look, this is like a serious topic that I decided to talk about here. It's a serious topic of discussion. I'm doing it as I walk, and I know that's unusual because people usually would be cameras. They do this. I'm getting more acclimated to the whole thing of talking and recording a video as opposed to just meaning just talking about a topic, as opposed to like what I usually do, which is on a computer demonstrating. So, but if you have experienced what I'm talking about, if you can relate to what I'm saying, and you know what I'm talking about, you want to say, let's speak on it. Let's start opening our mouths and let's start speaking out against hatred in the society. Please, can we start to do that? Can we stop it? Can we start treating each other positively instead of always having to assume negative about someone? Can we assume something positive? Can we not try to go and arrange an attack on someone because of what we think? And I know I sound a little angry here because it does anger me. This type of thing does anger me. People need to stop this crap. Okay? Can we not do that? Can we just be normal human beings? What is the point in us having all this technology, all this knowledge, artificial intelligence, all this stuff that we have, and then we're just going to be like full of hatred and not growing past some of these things as a human race? It doesn't make any sense. And what is the point in having all this stuff if we're not going to grow in all aspects of humanity? It does not make any sense, right? So this goes into a much bigger, that's the thing that people don't realize. This doesn't just affect what I'm talking about, just it by itself, the issue itself. It affects everything overall. Okay, that happens in society. It affects us as human beings across the board. So look, anyway, if you dig what I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying, you want to add something to this, come on, let's do this, man. Let's start speaking on this stuff. Listen, I'm here recording, and I'm recording the ground, and I'm walking because I'm not accustomed to this type of thing. This is a huge jump for me to do this. That's the point I'm about to make. Okay, it's a huge leap for me to even talk about something like this in a video, much less to even post it. And so, what I'm just mentioning that is to say, I don't think people understand what a huge jump this is. But I've been through some things, I guess I could say, plural, lately, that I'm like, you know what? I gotta really start speaking out. I've got to speak out. I've got to inform. I've got to use my voice. And this is just something I've got to do, and that's what I'm doing right here in this video. I go by Mr. Mark. And by the way, usually I should say, I distribute spreadsheets. I teach computer app type stuff. So you can check around, see what I've got. But please be mindful that I've had a huge break off a lot of stuff, and things have changed a lot. And so I think my point is, don't pay for anything that you don't have to. Just go ahead and download it for free if the option is there for you to do so. If anything you come across of mine, find a link on my channel page many things are free. And then if you use it and you like it and you want to pay, you want to donate, you want to go back and leave a payment, then you can go back and do that. But I just don't want anyone to download any, because I'm not sure what still works. I have so much stuff, and the problem with Google Sheets and Google Apps Script is that things can change, and like connecting to a website might not connect anymore, things like that. So I just don't want anyone to pay for something and then and it's hard to go to every single link I've ever done and kind of anyway. Try to download what you can for free if you see anything, like I said, and then if you want, don't upfront go and pay for anything. I'm going to try to get that message out as much as I can. Maybe I can send an email. I don't know. So that's another separate topic. But yeah, look, let's stop the hatred. Let's start to show some more love in this world. I want to help spread some more love. Let's do that. Mr. Mark, I love my audience out there, no matter how small the audience I might have. And hopefully, with time, we can grow and we can spread this message of love out there, and let's get some things rolling and changes in the society. I'm Mr. Mark, and I'm going to be out for this video.